Who's to say I didn't borrow it from you? They're giving it back.
I don't know.
It is already yours.
By the way, if it's running in VirtualBox and looks like a blank, put your mouse over and hit an arrow, and then it'll at least pop up. Hit a key. So now it's on the GPU drivers. It looks like it's doing great.
GPU drivers, you're saying?
Yeah, GPU drivers.
Ooh, I am catching that.
Whoa. All right, key distribution. Yeah, sometimes called out of band. So the problem with symmetric key is that with public-private key, you freely give out the public key. That's the way it was intended to be. But with symmetric key, there's one key that's private. How do you make it so that both people know it without an attacker listening in on what that key is? And this is a very serious problem inside of symmetric key cryptography.
You write it down, you hand deliver it, and you burn it.
Telepathy.
But then you'd have to trust the postmaster.
No, I said hand deliver.
Oh, but what if someone's over your shoulder while you're writing it down?
You're in a secure room. Those things exist. I know. I've been in
one too. So every time you want to talk to Bob, you have to fly over and hand him something?
And it's got to be double wrapped.
So could you use asymmetric encryption to deliver a symmetric key?
No.
Why?
Because then they have the public key and they can crack it.
No, they can't. Because if I encrypt it with my private key, if he encrypts it with this public key, my public key sends me the key, only I can decrypt it with my private key.
Unless they've cracked your public key.
It's safe to assume that's not happening, at least for now.
For now.
All right, so asymmetric keys can proliferate, stored in a key ring. You just got to be careful of the man in the middle attack. A common solution is to have some form of authenticator, certificate authority. These actually exist. We have entities that hold the keys for us that we trust, and then we build our encryption scheme from talking to these people that we trust. So, for example, let's say, I really wish we had different pictures here. What is this? Bob talking to, what did we say, Tom? And then Alice is in the middle? Is that what we said?
Not going there.
So Bob wants to write a message. He encrypts it with his keypad. And decryption algorithm message read public key back. So if he encrypts it with his public key, then only he should be able to decrypt it with his private key. What is this picture talking about? This picture is talking about if Alice jumps in the middle and pretends to be Tom and gives Bob her public key, so then Bob sends the message to Alice pretending to be Bob, and she decrypts it with her private key because Bob is using her public key. And then on the back end, Tom has done the whole encryption with the public key with Alice, so then Alice just re-encrypts it and sends it over to Tom, and now she can view the messages in between when Bob and Tom actually think that they're talking to one another.
Sure.
You didn't get that?
It makes sense. It's just really convoluted.
It is convoluted. We
It
need
makes
better,
sense if you look at it.
we need better pictures.
Also, they need to stop using stop signs because they're...
Yes, they do. All right. So digital certificates, that's proof of who or what owns a public key. Didn't I just go through this? Public key signed by a trusted party. Certificate or authorities are the trusted party. Their public keys included with web browser distributions. If you recall that when you're actually loading up a web browser. Well, you did this all the time in the military, where you had to add all the certs. Yeah, that's what this is. All the public keys for different certs, and the certificate authority would either vouch for them, or you would.
It tells you what your signature is, then you give it out to people, then they go ask NSA, is this the same thing you told them they are?
Right. You got it. Because we can trust them.
I mean, some third party.
Right. Sure, whatever. All right, encryption example, SSL. By the way, SSL is broken, only use TLS. But TLS is basically the drop-in replacement for SSL.
So it's gonna be broken too.
Well, yeah, that's how encryption goes, right? I mean, security is. It's all broken. Just a matter of time until we figure it out. Right, Matt?
Yeah.
See? He's on top of it. All right, so what SSL is doing is insertion of cryptography and one layer of the ISO network model. Do y'all know what the ISO network model is?
Sure.
In support of.
Okay, that's good. Beautiful.
That would
Don't
be
ever
nice.
change that. The idea here is that before a machine on the basically the operating system level wants to set up connection, the OS will set up the SSL connection, and then you just worry about opening a socket, and it takes it from there. So only two computers can exchange. Very complicated.
Something all people seem to need data check.
What's this?
All people seem to need data processing.
Oh, yes, the 7 layers.
Is that that one?
Yes,
Okay.
which in reality
Or is
only.
that light up?
No.
That-
The
no,
bottom
that's
4 are the only
TCP.
ones that matter. That's my opinion. Some people love the ISO model. I think it's truly terrible.
I had to learn it to get a flashing head.
Congratulations.
I wish I had a flashing head.
That I was able to wear on a uniform that I'm no longer allowed to wear.
Oh yeah, you can't even wear it at Halloween. Yeah.
Well, no, I could. I just risk going to jail.
Oh,
If I turn my rank upside down, though, I might be good.
really?
Well, then I'm not wearing the uniform.
You just have to take your rings off?
I have to make the uniform not the uniform. That's how they get away with it in movies.
Oh.
There's something wrong with the uniform in every movie. Otherwise, the actor could be impersonating a petty officer and going to jail. Or an officer.
Do you like to watch movies and try and find what those things are?
Sometimes. I mean, I don't use my spare time to do that. But if I'm watching a movie where they're wearing a uniform, I will look for it.
Oh, okay. Very commonly used, SSL or TLS between web servers and browsers, but it's used for a lot of other communications as well that happen over the network. The server is verified with a certificate assuring the client it's talking to the correct server, aka with certificate authority or trust authority, and then afterwards they just set up a connection. They have asymmetric cryptography used to establish a secure session key, which then is used as symmetric encryption for the bulk of communication, because symmetric encryption is a lot more efficient than asymmetric cryptography. All right, everyone got it? Oh, really?
Are we still in the same chapter?
Yes.
Is it like
This is like the chapter that never ends. Well, this is the only time that y'all are exposed to security. How y'all liking it so far?
And now for something completely
Please.
different.
Randomly in operating systems. All right, so as you may or may not know, passwords must be kept secret. Chris, do you agree?
No,
Okay, good.
we write them on sticky pads, put them on monitor. It's all fine.
It's all fine. Well, that's because your monitor's in a secure environment, right?
Hopefully.
Unless they box, you know, what the government would box it up with the password still on it and ship it out, wouldn't they? Yeah, they would do that. They would totally do that. Oh, that's funny. They want
But
you
if
to-
it's a secure system, then they had to double box it and send it FedEx.
It's true.
Unless it was a TS system, then they had to send it through.
Or courier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
FedEx can only take secret.
I didn't even know they could go up to secret. Wow. Go FedEx.
Yeah.
I glanced at the homework and I saw the J word in it. I just shrugged.
Do you need a hug?
Not right now.
Okay, good.
I'm still good.
Job, like coffee? Java?
Yeah.
Java?
So passwords, they want you to frequently change your passwords. Did you have to do that, Chris?
Yes. Okay.
Did they tell you why?
Because somebody thought that was a requirement.
Okay. So the answer is no. You just had to do it.
Just had to do it.
Yeah.
So
The idea is to
password
keep
1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5.
right. It's more of a defense
3,
in
4,
depth,
5, 6.
and also you can change your salts on some people.
Finally, after you get to 10 and 10,
Use of non-guessable passwords. There are password lists out there. Usually when they're trying to break into something, people first get this giant password list and they just try all of them in there. And log all invalid access attempts is just for auditing. So if someone's under attack, you can at least block out their account or see what's going on.
He's had 100 attempts in the past month.
That's not too bad. Would it be bad at 100 attempts in the past 5 seconds? We got a problem. They can either be encrypted or allowed to be used only once. Right. Gotta make sure you store it
That sounds
correctly.
pretty terrible.
Right. Reuse of passwords is dangerous. Do any of us reuse our passwords?
Yep. I have 2.
You mean using it for multiple things?
Yes.
No. That's horrible.
Who would do such a thing? Oh
No, I have this giant table printed next to my desk. Every password by month for each possible 50 of the passwords that I've got to keep. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, but now you're printing them out, which is
That's
insecure.
the only way to remember them. I can't remember 50 passwords, much alone the 50 times the however many times I've got to change them.
So let me tell you, passwords are broken. Don't ever use them. They're a terrible security scheme. So first, there's a lot of
what's your
notions that
alternative solution. 'Cause everybody uses passwords.
right. Either tokens or
Bitcoins.
Bitcoins. That'd be good. All right, defense in depth is the most common security theory, aka you have multiple layers of security to stop someone from breaking in. So if they break into system A, maybe they can't get through system B before they can get to system B. The policy describes what's being secured. Wow. Vulnerability assessment compares the real state of the system with what it should be. Intrusion detection endeavors. Okay, you have intrusion detection systems and intrusion prevention systems. The classic one people think about is you have it on the network and it's watching the network traffic go by, seeing if it has anything, any viruses or whatnot, or any problems happening on the network.
It's really random, but it just installed like a Wiimote driver. I saw that go by.
Yeah, that's part of the kernel now.
Neat.
Signature-based detection, excuse me, basically says if you see these strings of bits going by, it's a virus or something. So that's very good at detecting bad patterns. But if you have a 0-day problem, aka you haven't created a signature for the problem yet, then you would use anomaly detection, which you basically have the intrusion prevention system running for a while. It knows what the normal behavior is, and then when it sees something abnormal, then it kicks in. Of course, there's a false positive and false negatives problem. What does that sound like?
Well, sometimes some user logs in after months of no activity. That's an anomaly.
It is. Set up
But it's a false positive.
because they were supposed to.
Yeah.
So it would be a false negative.
Somehow something matches the signature of a virus, but it wasn't really a virus.
That's a false positive.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the other way around.
Is a virus.
Oh, something
but
that is a virus, yeah.
But is not detected. Right. False negative.
What is a false negative?
We just did.
I was in that. That's too.
You should preface that with, Dr. West, I just zoned out. What did we just say?
I looked up false positive makes sense, and I see false negative. And
So, let's say you put a virus in the system.
But isn't detected.
It isn't detected, or the system says that's okay.
That's
It's a
not
false negative. It
virus.
meant it should have detected it, but it didn't.
Well, no, that would be a false positive. That's okay. He said it's okay. That's positive.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Thanks, Chris. Everyone else ready for word games? Virus protection. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. All right, auditing is important to do just so you can go back and have a log of what happened. Actually, it's very common to have logging done in a completely separate machine.
And it makes a job for somebody else.
Right, so then We can hire someone
We're
else.
creating jobs and making America great again.
Right. And lastly, this is the most annoying one, educating employees on policies. Did you ever have to go through training, Chris?
Never. I think I spent more time on training than any other single task.
Yeah, in case you didn't catch that, that was sarcasm. Did you catch that, Matt? Just a little?
A little bit.
This is just never going to end. All right, firewalls. Who doesn't know about firewalls? Great.
It's a wall
Turn
of
off.
fire.
You turn off ports that you don't want to be using, or you can actually set up additional things to stop whatever from happening. All right, we're done. It's on the network. Here's a picture. See, internet trying to do something bad to computer. The firewall says no. Don't either stops it or goes to the DMZ. Good. We're done.
Who cares?
This is dumb.
And I don't think we do this anymore.
Are you serious? Did you ever do this?
Don't think so.
All right, so back in the 70s, the U.S. Department of Defense outlined 4 divisions of computer security, A, B, C, D. Okay, actually, it's still in here. D is not secure, unclass, well, or FOUL. So C is discretionary. Actually, they're not even.
They never use D.
Yeah. Yeah, this doesn't even use anymore. All right, we just use unclass, class, secret, and TS, and other things we won't talk about. All right, Windows XP. Oh my goodness. All right, I'll
So
read.
secure.
Security is based on user accounts. Each user has a unique ID. You log in with the ID, and you have an access token in order to access everything you want. Uses a subject model to ensure access security. It tracks and manages permissions for each program as it runs. Okay, that's great. So a file is going to have a security descriptor on it that indicates the access permissions for all the users on that file.
Fun fact. If you log in through the console instead of the GUI login page, and then click Start, you can get Windows without having to log in.
That's a feature, Chris. Feature. Woo! Wow.
It does end.
It doesn't. Any questions on security?
What do we need to know about Windows XP for the final?
Nothing.
Great.
Any other
Something
questions?
Our final would be cracking into Windows XP.
You want that to be your
I
fun?
answered it for everybody.
You gotta create a video of you doing it.
Then someone
gotta
would
create
take
a
it
video?
literally.
That
and
requires
just
me
load.
buying hardware. Is Department going to supply the hardware?
No, but we'll require you to buy it.
No.
All right, and that won't be your final. Any other questions?
Just take a Windows XP disk and hammer it, crack it.
Although apparently
Oh,
the
that's a
business
good way to do
department is going to require me to hire a proctor for my final.
Oh yeah.
What class?
I told you to get ready for that one. You're gonna love that.
Wait, which class is this?
Systems analysis and design.
Oh yeah, that stupid class.
Apparently we pay a professor to not proctor my tests.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the best.
Whoa!
Doc